I just realized that the microphone wasn't on. All right, so let me let me go back here real quick. All right, I am going to go back a few slides and start this over again. My apologies for not having the microphone on. Let's see here. All right, so the recap first, take as much money out of the banks as you can. Interest rates are near zero. It's better that you have the money in your possession as opposed to the bank in case things get worse. And again, you're not earning interest, so there's no harm there. The second daylight was crypto is a superior alternative to fiat, and I explained why. But I furthermore am giving away free Raven coin just so that people can experience crypto. Most people in the mainstream have only heard about crypto. What they've heard is inaccurate, but most people haven't used it, and to a certain degree, it's because it hasn't really been all that accessible. But it is now as easy to send and receive crypto as it is to send and receive a text message. So if you send me a private message with your mobile number, I'll actually text you some Raven coin for free so that you can see how it works, just so you can get a feeling for it. The next daylight was about library.com as an alternative to YouTube. And this is a series of the next few slides, different alternatives in this age of censorship. What we're finding is most of these big technology platforms have recently started not only promoting specific government positions on things like coronavirus, putting out front the CDC and Health and Human Services information, but also banning people and throttling people for speaking out against what the official public health response is, even if what you're saying is accurate. And that's just not an acceptable position moving forward. And so there are a number of tools and different services that have been created that are truly decentralized. They're not government solutions. They're not owned by a technology company. Most of them are based on blockchain technology, which is the same technology that underlines cryptocurrencies. And so I'm going through and I'm reviewing several different options that you have there. And I myself am in the process of migrating to these different platforms. And so library.com, again, is a censorship-resistant alternative to YouTube. You can check it out. You can download it for free. This channel is at daylight, so you can see all of the videos that we're doing here are there. And if you reach out to me, I will give you some free LBC tokens, which is the cryptocurrency used within the library service to upload and tip other people if you like their content and so forth. So that was daylight number 3. Daylight number 4 is that there's an alternative to Facebook, which is a service called Minds.com. And I've been on and off this for a couple of years. I'm still experimenting with it. In fact, I thought, instead of doing a Facebook group, I would do a group on Daylight, but I haven't, to be honest, been able to make that work as efficiently as I'd like. And then I've also heard a few other things from others about Minds.com that I'm vetting. But it certainly is there, and it's something that you can check out. And with all of this, I've been using computers since I was 5. I play around with everything. I mean, I bought a Zune when it came out. I had MP3 players that, before the iPod. I've had every Google Glass, every gadget. So I play with this stuff as a passion and as a hobby. So when I'm showing you guys something, I'm not showing you something that I haven't used myself. Although I will tell you the degree to which I've used it, because with some of these tools that I'm showing you, I have somewhat more limited experience. And at any point in time, if you have better suggestions or better alternatives, please put them forward. The whole purpose of this is to share the best information to as many people as possible. Daylight 5, I demonstrated an app called Signal, which is an encrypted tool that allows you to send text, audio, and video. And so it uses encryption so that the only people that see the message are you and the recipient. And I've used this tool for a number of years. It has a lot of really interesting features. Like you can send somebody an image or a video or whatever, and it pretty much implodes the minute they see it. So they watch, it seems like something that you'd see on Mission Impossible, but they watch the video or they see the image and then it disappears. It's not stored on anyone's device. And so there are all kinds of things like that. But, again, we already know from Edward Snowden, the NSA already has backdoors into all of your cell phone providers, all of your ISPs, all of these big technology platforms. And so something like this is really important for being able to connect with friends and family. And then the sixth daylight was a little bit different. When I started this, again, this was about personal improvement, personal transformation. So a lot of what I'm going to be talking about is related to stuff that I've really been doing for the last year, related to just kind of deconstructing my whole life and kind of improving my health and going in a whole bunch of different directions, which I explain in some of the various videos. But I want to give a very simple health tip every day instead of making this like a whole real comprehensive thing. In fact, I'm hoping that by putting one of these tips out per day, then maybe after a few months, I'll figure out a better way to present all of this information. But I figure since people have time and I want to be helpful now, I'll just start by putting one thing out per day. And so the last video I did talked about diaphragmatic breathing, which this is a really simple tool that you can use. You'd be amazed. We really, in this society, everything is so focused externally. We're so focused on external solutions to everything in our life that we don't even know or take time to think about how we're breathing, how we're walking, our posture. And there are a series of really small things that you can do that make a big difference. So this just shows you here a way of breathing where you take big, deep breaths. You inhale through your nose, fill your lungs with air to the point where your belly is extended out as you inhale, and then you exhale through the mouth. And so I'm suggesting just try that 3 times when you get up in the morning and do it 3 more times at some point throughout the day and see if you don't see a difference, because there have been studies on this. Just changing your breath in this way, and this kind of breathing is used in meditation and a lot of other techniques. You can reduce cortisol, lower your heart rate, lower your blood pressure, slow your breathing rate, and can even help cope with PTSD. So again, I think moving forward, I'm going to start separating these tips into, these are technology tips, these are health and wellness tips, but for now, I'm just going through and recapping where we are. So today's daylight is, I want to show you guys Brave, which is a superior web browser to Chrome, Firefox, etc., that really values privacy and doesn't have ads built into it. It has a voluntary ad system that leverages cryptocurrency in the blockchain. And why this is important is, there's an increasing amount, you've probably seen this or maybe even experienced this yourself. A lot of malware comes through your web browser. And this malware includes bugs, worms, viruses, various Trojan horses, adware, bots. Ransomware has become a more popular one. Spyware, where the people put something in your browser that allows them to actually capture your screen strokes and look at everything on your computer. So malware is a huge problem and something that you have to deal with all of these browsers. And there's also a broader privacy issue. I mean, when you look at something like Google Chrome or Safari, these are browsers that, these are commercial products. And so while they offer themselves as being free, they're far from free. You are trading a wealth of information about yourself. The amount of tracking that goes into Google Chrome, particularly if you're then tied in with your Gmail account and then GPS and everything. I mean, I noticed I got a thing that, gave me a summary of, it's like, oh, here are all the places you were last month. And it's like, on the one hand, I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. On the other hand, I don't know how excited I am about, getting this printout that tells me how many cities I was in 1 month. And so this is just something that's fundamentally built into their business model, and it's how they work, and it's how they offer these things for free. And we're also very aware of the close connection with the CIA and the NSA. And as I discussed in a previous video, I mean, I myself have had my own private direct messages intercepted by the Attorney General's office in the state of New Hampshire without my knowledge, and they even went so far as to get to seal the order, because usually when Facebook's policy is when they're required to give personal information up, they notify the customer, and the state of New Hampshire actually even went around that to get a sealing order on that. So this stuff is real. I mean, the violations of privacy are overwhelming. And so in the video that I did about Minds, I actually go through a little bit of the background of everything that I'm describing here in terms of the issue with the AG's office and everything else. So So this isn't, pie in the sky stuff. This is stuff that you would be amazed, who's looking at your stuff and how easy it is for them to actually look at this information. And so there are tools that go outside of the scope of even the government's ability to peek into this. And so I'm going to give you the brief pitch on the benefits of this Brave browser, which you can download at brave.com. One, it's faster. It is significantly faster. It loads pages 3 to 6 times faster. And you can import all of your bookmarks and settings. And so this is the thing. Actually, one of the people that has been following these videos suggested this to me. I have only been using Brave for a few days. Most of the other things that I have shown you I've used for on and off for a couple of years at least. This one I've only been using for a few days. And so I'm going through this, and at least in this case, I haven't actually done this yet. So going through what they claim it can do, I can't say that I've vetted this, but their marketing thing says, well, you can import all of your bookmarks and settings. It does have great security in terms of blocking all of the ads. And I'm going to do a live demonstration of this because just in the 3 days that I have used it, I've noticed that, it's a vastly better experience than what I've had with Chrome in the past. And so this is just a list of, some of the features that it has. It's got, all kinds of shields for ad blocking and controlling all of your cookies. As I mentioned, it does have, it uses a cryptocurrency, and it has its own little reward system, which is completely optional, but you can opt into voluntarily see ads. And when you see those ads, you receive a cryptocurrency called BAT, and then you can take that cryptocurrency that you're earning and then actually share it with, basically tip the content sites that are part of the network, the Brave network. And so this is a whole new model of monetizing this traffic that doesn't involve you sharing all of your information. It's a completely voluntary system that takes advantage of a cryptocurrency to be able to make micro transactions. And then lastly, it has a whole bunch of security features. It has the ability for you to integrate search engines, which I'll talk about that as well. There are replacements for and alternatives to Google for search as well. I'm going to do a separate video on that. And as it says here, and as I demonstrated in an earlier video, DuckDuckGo is a search engine that is an alternative. There's another one called StartPage. But again, I think it's important to have alternatives to all of these different tools that we're using, including Gmail and others. So I'm going to just jump right in now, and I'm going to pop open, see how this works. All right. Let me see how this goes. Okay. Now I'm going to be, hopefully you can still hear me. Let me see actually if this. All right, let me try this. All right, now I'm going to load the Brave browser. Let me see, where is that window? I have far too many windows here. That's Chrome. Let's see, is this? No, that is not the correct browser. All right, bear with me 1 second here. Add Okay. All right, here we go. Let's see. All right, now we're up and running. So now you should see, I've actually loaded the Brave browser, downloaded it as an app. It's available on the Mac, it's available on the PC. It is also available as apps for both iOS and Android. One thing that I'll show you about this very, very quickly is, if for those of you that are in New Hampshire, for instance, the Union Leader, I'll show you the Union Leader site as an example. So if I go to the Union Leader site, one of the things that they've done is they have one of these things where you can only view 5 articles, and then that's it. And then they try to get you to pay for the service. Well, the one thing you'll see as I've popped in here is I've loaded up the Union Leader. First thing you see is there are no ads. So all of the ads have been stripped off of this, which is great. So, this is kind of an annoying site in terms of the number of ads that popped up, but I can also go in here and I can click on these stories and I will not run into that issue where I hit a paywall. So this varies from site to site. You're not going to be able to all of a sudden view Wall Street Journal articles for free, but just, for my friends that are in New Hampshire, this is, one immediate benefit that you can see from this. I'll give you another example. I'll go to CNBC, and when I go to CNBC, again, no ads. And usually, actually, maybe it's because I've already visited this, a window will pop up and say, hey, we detect that you're not letting us serve ads. Will you let us serve ads, which I've turned off. So that's a very, very useful feature. So, again, I can keep on popping through here. Another site that I go to often, which is Zero Hedge. And in all of these places where you see white space, this is where you would normally see a ton of different ads. And up here, I can go, and this is the Brave Reward. So this is that concept where it's creating a cryptocurrency wallet for me. And this is where I can actually, as I said, I can earn these BAT tokens by voluntarily viewing ads. And then I can actually contribute those tokens to different content providers. And so that's ultimately how the Brave model is going to work. It's all voluntary, but you don't even have to use this at all. You could not sign up to use the tokens at all. You can just use the browser, get all of the privacy features, get all of security features, and then that's it. You're done. So that's the quick overview on that. I'm going to pop back. Let's see. I'm going to pop back to the presentation, and I just want to leave you with an Edward Snowden quote, which, a child born today will grow up with no conception of privacy at all. They'll never know what it means to have a private moment to themselves, an unrecorded, unanalyzed thought, and that's a problem because privacy matters. Privacy is what allows us to determine who we are and who we want to be, and I think that's an important point and an important thing to consider with respect to not only looking at Brave as an alternative, but looking at all these other alternatives, Library Minds, and some of the other tools I'm going to be showing you over the next week or two. Is privacy really does matter, and now more than ever, as we're sitting here at various levels of quarantine, we need to defend and support our own privacy, and we can do that by the actions that we take and the tools that we voluntarily choose to use to communicate with one another. So with that said, I apologize for the lack of audio at the beginning, but I am grateful for everybody that signed in and looked at this, and I'm grateful for everybody that's joined. We have almost 500 people in our Facebook group in just under 24 hours. And so I'm hoping that these videos are useful, and I will be back tomorrow with a new video, and I look forward to your feedback. Have a good evening. Bye.